I'm about to walk you through a fictional website that makes a lot of the same mistakes that I see small business owners consistently making. I'm using a fictional site because I don't want to call anybody out specifically or embarrass them, but this is what's really happening out in the world, and I really want you to take a critical look at your website and make sure that you're not doing the same things, okay? Okay, so we have this little website, and you can see that we have a logo up here, company name. We have a standard navigation over here. We have a hero image. It says, "Hi, I'm Denise. Welcome to my coaching practice." Then we scroll down. We see my journey, a little bit of a bio, headshot. Yes, this is just like made up graphics. Obviously, there would be ordinarily actual photographs here. Then we have a section on what the offer is and how this person helps their clients, their ideal clients. Then a little section on work and the services and the types of options that people can choose from. Then this didn't come through real clear, but this section is really about why work with me, why choose me over somebody else, over another coach, a little explanation, and then at the very bottom we have an email sign up form, okay? We have a copyright at the bottom. All good, right? Standard elements doesn't look bad on the face of it, right? Now, I want you to also look at when I click on the home button, we stay here. When I click on my journey, we go to the my journey section. When I click on the work, we go to this work section. This works as intended, but it's all on the same page. And that is mistake number one. We don't want everything on the same page. When we put everything on the same page, and there's a plethora right now of AI one-page websites going on out there that say you don't need a big complicated websites, you don't need lots of pages, you just need one with all the info on it. I mean, maybe that is all you technically need, but is that going to serve you? No, it is not. Why is this not going to serve you? It's because you cannot get a page to rank for multiple keywords successfully. So the idea for SEO, for search engine optimization, you want multiple pages and you want to assign keywords or keyword phrases to that particular page so that Google and the LLMs and all the search engines can look at that page, decide what you understand what it is talking about, what is the topic, what is the expertise being offered, what it is that it should show to the world about this web page, and then do that, rank it, display it in search results, all those kinds of things. If you're talking about yourself, your journey, your offer, the services, the different services, you're making the justification for working with you. That's a lot of keywords that are potentially trying to jostle with each other and compete with each other on this page. And that's not going to help you in the long run. So be leery of just creating a one-page website. It is, it is simple. It is easy to navigate. It's easy to create. It's easy to update, I suppose, but it's not going to necessarily serve you in the highest and best way. So that's mistake number one, is having everything all on one page. Let's dive into some of the other mistakes. Right here, the hero, probably would be a really glorious photo. But hi, I'm Denise. Welcome to my coaching practice. That is big mistake number two. We never want to lead with ourselves. You want to lead with your ideal client's desired outcome, frustrations if you're doing pain point marketing, or if your business lends itself to that. I don't necessarily recommend that, but you want to speak to your ideal client in some way. Call them out by name, call them out by what they're trying to achieve, call them out by the problems that they're experiencing, call them out by industry, call them out by whatever, but don't start with like, "Hi, here's me, this is my webpage," because they're going to lose interest. People have very short attention span and they want to see themselves in your site. They want to see immediately that this is a site that can help them, that can address the problems that they're experiencing, that can deliver the outcome that they're looking for. So make sure you're not leading with yourself. So up here, I would put a clear outcome-based headline rather than a clever one. So I wouldn't put puns or make a clever name here. But if you really want to be clever, you can use this sort of subhead area in order to explain it and add some context. That's okay. But just understand that clarity beats cleverness every single time, especially when somebody lands on your website, takes less than 2 seconds to look. They're not even going to scroll. They're going to look at this headline, and then they're going to bounce if it doesn't match their expectations or their needs. The other thing to think about is that if you're building a website, I highly recommend that you do keyword research first. Understand what your ideal clients are looking for, what search terms they're using, whether that's in ChatGPT or in YouTube or in Google, because those are all big search engines, right? Even in Pinterest and in LinkedIn. A lot of people are searching for stuff on LinkedIn. So make sure that your title, the heading of your page right here, has some of those keywords in there. So if you are a personal mobility coach, or you are a fractional financial advisor, or you are I don't know, a high school reading tutor, whatever it is, you want to make sure that those key phrases are in your title. You want to make sure that it is conversational, that it's going to land with your human more than it does with the search engine, but you have to have a balance there. So you really do need to introduce your keywords, your keyword phrases, the things that people are searching for very, very early on. And if your web page is in correct HTML structure, which is another thing that you need to look for, and I won't go into it too much here because that's a whole topic for a whole other day. But if you have a clear hierarchy of like main headings, subheadings, paragraphs, sub-subheadings, all that kind of stuff, so that the search engine can read it correctly and understand how things are organized, that's going to help you. There is a strategy and a structure to it. So know that, but if you at least understand that you should have your keywords in those headings and subheadings, that is going to be massive. So lead with something that is outcome based, that your ideal person is looking for, and make sure your keywords are visible and introduced early on. So that's one thing. Don't lead with yourself, lead with that outcome. Then we want to similarly make sure that we go straight into those outcomes that the people are looking for, right? So if we have a promise here, an outcome that we're making, that we're going to deliver, the next section should follow into that. It should deliver on that, explain it, dive into it a little bit deeper. You don't want to talk about an outcome and then start talking about something completely different. The number one job that every line of copy on your website has is to stop somebody's scroll, grab their attention, and then make them lean in and want to read the next line. Then that line's job is to make the person want to read the next line, and so on and so on. So you really want to look at your content with that perspective. Is it making people want to read further? Is it making people curious? Is it making people lean in rather than be like, oh, no, this isn't for me. See you later. And your bounce rate, if you're looking at your analytics, or if you're not looking at your analytics, look at your analytics. One of the things that you can look at is your bounce rate. The bounce rate tells you what percentage of people land on a page in your website. Typically, you start with your homepage and then immediately leave. They bounce off, right? They exit from your website. If you have a high bounce rate, that is a clue that they're not finding the information that they expected on your website, that they maybe came with a different expectation, or they landed there and they're like, oh no, this isn't for me. This doesn't speak to me in any way. This is talking about Denise here already. But I'm not Denise. I'm Julie, and I want to learn about things for myself. So that is probably what's happening. Okay, as we scroll down, we get to this next section. What do I offer? That is a question that Denise thinks her people are asking. What do you offer, Denise? Well, I'm going to tell you what I offer. I offer this. I help mid-career professionals 50 plus navigate layoffs, career pivots, and their next chapter with confidence, whether that's landing a new role, negotiating a package, or figuring out what's next after 25 years in one industry. She has answered the question that she thinks people are asking. That is not what people are asking. What people are asking is, what can you do for me? Right? So here, what I would put instead of what do I offer, which also has no keywords in it, has no relevance, does not tell Google or the LLMs or search engines of any kind what this is about, what industry, what topic, what service, what problem it is solving. The better question here, or the better title here would be something like attract 10 new clients in 30 days, right? Or client attracting services or financial services for small business owners or whatever it is, but it has to be clear and specific and tangible and related to what it actually is about so that it's not generic, so that it doesn't apply to 17 different industries or more, because that's not going to help, right? So I would change this title. And then this part itself isn't that bad, but again, it's leading with the person, with the provider, rather than leading with the outcome or the desire or the challenge that the reader is experiencing or is trying to find an answer to or find relevance with. So instead of starting, I help mid-career professionals, blah, 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 what she could have done really simply is just to reorganize the sentence a little bit and make it more active. So, for example, land a new role, negotiate a salary raise, or figure out what's next for you after 25 years in one industry. That's more active. That's telling a person, this is what you can accomplish if you work with me, without saying, this is what I will do for you. This is what I can offer you. This is how I can help you. Do you see that difference? This is something that a lot of people just do not do with their websites and do not understand. We all really want to tell everybody what we do and how we help people and how passionate we are about the work that we do, blah, 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 what our why is, where we came from, how we came up with our business. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like, really, they don't. It sounds awful, but nobody cares. Not in the beginning, anyway. Maybe later, once they've learned that you can help them, that they trust you, that they find you credible, find you authoritative, that they trust themselves in being able to do the work that you offer to help them with, all those kinds of things. But initially, they do not care who you are, what you offer, how you got there, what your values are. First and foremost, they want to know before they're going to do anything else or move any more forward with you is, what can you do for them? Do you speak to their unique situations, circumstances, problem, challenges, desires? Okay. Here, the work, never, ever lead with the work. This one is a little bit related to this earlier section here. So here I would just put, services for career hunters or services for aspiring leaders, whatever, right? So just make it more tangible, but don't talk about work. Nobody wants to buy work. People want to buy the outcome. People buy three things. They buy in three categories. They want to find something that is going to help them with their wealth, their health, or their relationships. That's it. And you need to relate your offerings, your copy, your everything to one of those three categories. If you can deliver in two categories, even better. They will throw their money at you. But you have to lead with those things. If you're leading with the work, nobody wants to work, right? It's just like nobody wants to write a book. Writing a book is long and hard, it's drudgery, but everybody would love to be on the bestseller list, right? See the difference? You don't want to lead with the work. You don't want to launch into the work. You want to launch into the outcome. You want to help people see past the work and into that accomplished final state. Here we have three distinct services: the resume overhaul, the career strategy sessions, and the interview confidence coaching. Each one has a one line of text descriptor, and then a link that says, click here for more details and to book. Now, what would you expect would happen once you click on one of these links? You'd expect that you're going to go possibly to a new page where there's actually more details and a link to a calendar, right? To pick a time to book a call or book this service. Or you might expect that clicking this would expand the section and give you those more details and a link to book that service or to a calendar or whatever. So let's click and see if this delivers. No, it does not. What it actually did, and it might have been too fast for you to realize this, but this just basically takes us to the bottom of the page where it says get in touch, fill out the form, and I'll get back to you in 2 business days. Now, that is a huge opportunity miss. Number one, you have not delivered on the expectation, or Denise didn't. I'm not talking about you specifically, but check that your website doesn't do this as well. Hasn't delivered on the expectation, just created some confusion because you expected that this was going to give you more information and an opportunity to book this service and possibly a price, right? Because there's no price listed on here. But it didn't. It just took you to the bottom of the page where you need to put in your name, your email, put in a message. So now you have to think even more. You have to go back and figure out, okay, which one of these sessions am I actually looking for? You have to type all that in, and then you have to hit send, and then you have to sit and wait for up to 2 days to get an answer and more of those details. So this is asking people to think too much, to remember too much. And also you're asking people to be clear about what they're asking for. And half the time people aren't. Half the time people put in a message, their text gets cut off, they can't think straight, they ramble, whatever. So it's not really helping either one of you, okay? The other thing to note is that every single one of these text links says the exact same thing. Click here for more details and to book. Now, that's also an accessibility issue. If somebody is looking at your site or your landing page with a screen reader, and they're just tabbing through links, every single one of them is just going to say the same thing, and they're going to have no idea what it talks about. They may not have this context that it's this link belongs to the resume overhaul, and then this link belongs to the career strategy session, and that this link belongs to the interview confidence coaching. So make sure that every button and every text link have a unique and clear and specific action-oriented, outcome-based CTA. The easiest way to make these clear would be click here for resume overhaul service. Click here to book a career strategy session, right? Like make them unique and descriptive and super specific so that people know what they're clicking on and what they're going to get. And make sure they don't just dump them into some generic shit like this. Okay? So don't lead with the work. And then here, this is just a complete mismatch. Why work with me? Again, that's a really vague statement. This should be outcome based. It should lead with what it is that the people really want to see and achieve. And if this was a tagline, I mean, there's a lot of space here. These two seem disconnected. Because what? Because I know what it's like to sit across from a stranger and try to explain 25 years of experience in 15 minutes. There's better ways to do this. One of the really good ways that I recommend to everybody is to have an FAQ on every service page, for example. This can help you overcome objections, but in the voice of your customer. So think of all the questions that they might get. Think of in the past all the questions that you have gotten from potential customers who didn't buy. Think of all the objections that you've gotten. And what is an objection? An objection is something like people might think they're not smart enough, they're not tech savvy enough, they're not advanced enough, they're not wealthy enough to buy your program. They don't have a big enough staff, they aren't far along enough in their business, they don't have enough credentials, like whatever. People often think of these things, right? They have these roadblocks, these mental roadblocks. So your FAQs can address them. You could potentially ask a question from your person's point of view. Will this work for me even if I've tried all the social media platforms before? Will this work for me even if I have a small budget? Will this work for me even if I only have 15 minutes a day? Those kinds of questions in an FAQ are going to really do much more for you than a section like this on why work with me. You can have one in there, but don't make it the most prominent thing. Have all the other stuff that really helps the person look at your webpage and think, holy shit, this person gets me. They understand. They're in my head. How did they get in my head? That is the kind of reaction that you want from your people. And then finally, this little section here at the bottom, the get in touch. Nobody wants to get in touch. Fill out the form below and I'll get back to you within 2 business days. I mean, how boring could this be? It couldn't be any more boring, right? Nobody wants to fill out a form and then sit and wait. They want something immediate. So get in touch. Why? Give them a reason why to sign up and send. Like make the button at least, fit what the thing is, what they're signing up for. You have to deliver on the expectation and you have to make it exciting. If this is just an email list that they're subscribing to, say so, but say what they're going to get and how often. Set up that expectation so that it's a little bit more enticing for them. So those are the initial problems that I just wanted to talk to you about. Go take a look at your site and make sure that you're not making these mistakes. Make sure you're leading with the outcome, that you are speaking directly to your people right off the bat. Do not lead with yourself. Nobody cares. I mean, yes, eventually they will, but this should not be front and center. It should not be the first thing on your webpage. It should be somewhere on an about section, or an about page, or a tiny snippet much, much lower on the home page. Then lead to another page where it's explained more, but not right here, right up front. And then even, I didn't actually say this, even when you are writing your about page and about your story and your journey, you want to write it from the point of view of your person. So even though it is about you, you want to make it so compelling that the person reading it thinks, oh, this is the person for me. This is exactly the kind of mentor or instructor or teacher or service provider that I was looking for. So make sure you're always looking at every word on your website from the point of view of your ideal customer. Okay. What do I offer? Again, don't just lead with yourself. Make sure it's from your person's point of view. They are the hero of this journey. They are on a quest. You are just the guide. So don't make it about yourself. Make it about them. Never lead with the work. And don't be obtuse. Make sure that everything is clear, that it's using the keywords that you have surfaced for your industry, your topic, your service, and then make it exciting. Make them want to hear from you. And don't make them think too much about what it is you're asking them to do. Give them a reason to want to subscribe to your email list. Tell them clearly what they're signing up for. Don't make them think. Don't make them think. Don't make them think. Okay, so go take a look at your website. Make sure that you're not doing any of these things. And don't feel bad if you catch them. Just be glad that you are now aware and that you can fix them. Most of us, when we start our businesses, we have no idea what we're doing. We don't have degrees in marketing. We don't know what conversion copy is. We don't know all about buyer psychology, right? There's people who are experts in that, me included. So don't feel bad that you don't know these things, that you led with yourself, that you led with the work, that you spent too much time talking about your background and your credentials. That's okay. Everybody does it. But now that you know, go ahead and look at your website and see if you can spot some of those areas where you can improve them and turn them around and put them from your ideal buyer's perspective. And if you want some help, I do these kinds of funnel teardowns, real ones inside my community on School. It's called Funnel Forensics. And I'd love to have you in there. So you can come in there, you can show us your funnel. You have a judgment-free, pain-free zone. Well, maybe not pain-free because it's sometimes painful to realize like, oh shit, I need to rebuild that thing. But you'll get clear, supportive, judgment-free help, and we'll make sure that your website isn't making mistakes that are costing you money. Okay, the link is below. Sign up. I'll see you over there. Bye.